Hey there, welcome. In this video we'll learn how to integrate the Stripe payment gateway into our React app. So for the front end we are going to use the React app, and for the backend we are going to use Node.js. So let's see what we have first. If I come to the application, if I click on the pay button, I'm going to fill up all the requirement fields, and I'm going to put a test credit card here. Now before I click the pay button, let me show you in the Stripe dashboard that I have no transactions and no payments. And if I click on the pay button, we should have the $12 inside our payment dashboard. And now if I come inside the dashboard and refresh this, as you can see we have the $12 charged, and there will be also a bonus section where there will be a pop-up saying your payment was successful. So let's get started. So to start it, I'm gonna go inside my system and create a folder called Stripe integration. Inside this, first we are gonna open our dashboard and install the React app. For that, install, type npm npx create React app, and then call it client or whatever you want. I'm gonna call it client and press enter. This will take a few moments and I'll be back once this is installed. Okay, now our React app is created. As we can see, we have the client folder. Now let's navigate inside the client folder and install some packages. So to install the packages, type npm I, and the first one will be the Axios and the second one will be the Stripe checkout button. To install that, type React and then Stripe checkout. Hit the enter and then it will install. Once this is installed, I'll be back. So once that is done, go ahead, open a new terminal inside the root directory. Remember, this is inside the root directory, not inside the client folder. In here we are going to install a bunch of packages that I will list in the description. So npm I, and these are all the packages that we need: Stripe, body parser, express, course.env, and normal. So I'm gonna hit enter and this will take a while. Once this is installed, I'll be back. Okay, now we have all our packages installed and ready to go. So let's first of all go inside the client folder and then run our application npm start. Once this is installed, this will open inside the Google Chrome and we should have our React app ready and running. As you can see, the React app is already running on our local host. So now go ahead and drag this entire folder of the Stripe integration inside your text editor. Okay, now coming into the app.js, I have modified some of the files and added some JSX here. So let's see what we have. We have simple text here, and inside this app.js I'm going to import a bunch of stuff. So the first one will be Stripe checkout from the React Stripe checkout button. The next one will be the state, which we'll use to hold our product and the data, and the last one will be the Axios. So let's see how do we use them. Inside our function, let's create a product, and then set product, use state, and then inside here we are going to put a name. For example, let's say headphone, and let's put a price for this. The price will be, for example, $10 and 7. And inside the JSX we are going to display the product. Let's say product.name, and in here we are going to display the price, product.price. So let's save it and see what we have. We have the name and the price here. We have the product ready, and in here I'm going to create another variable. I'm going to explain it later. I'm going to call it price for Stripe equals to product.price multiplied by 100. So now let's use the Stripe checkout button. How do you use it? Inside our div, after the p, we are going to use the Stripe checkout. Open and close the tag. So in here we are going to put some attributions. The first one will be the Stripe key. I'm going to leave it alone and empty here, and I'll bring the Stripe key later. So this is gonna be a long list, and I'm gonna copy and paste some of the stuff we need here. I'm gonna paste it here. The label will be now, the name will be pay with credit card. I'm gonna show you what we'll use them. So this one will be the function. So let's remove it for now, save it. And if I come inside our application, let's see. As you can see, we have the button ready. Now let's bring up our stripe key. So now you should have your account ready for the stripe button. If you come to the dashboard, then come to the developers option. In here you go to the API keys, and then you copy your publishable key. Once this is copied, you're gonna come here and then paste it. I'm gonna show you another way later on, but for now let's paste it here and see the button. If I click this, this should bring up a pop-up. As you can see, we have the title and the total, the email, and all the billing address. Now if I click the payment info, now as you can see, we have the credit card field and the month, year, and the CVC. So if I come back, and as you can see, there was a token here. So the function will fire once we click the pay button. We're gonna call the pay button pay now. And now we're gonna create the function const, and we're gonna put the name of the function. This will be an async function, and we will take the whole token and the info the button is pausing this. And let's do a try catch block. If there is any error, we're gonna just log it for now. So inside the try block, we're going to use our Axios. We are going to wait for the response. Since this is an async function, we have to wait for the result, and we are going to use the Axios here. So how do we use it? First one will be the URL. The URL is what we will post this data to. This will be the receiver of the information and the token, the data we post. So for us, it will be HTTP and then localhost. This one will be 5000, and the last one will be payment. So we will send our data to this URL. The next one will be the method. We are going to use the post method, post, and the last one will be our entire data that we are passing. So the data will be the amount. So how do we pass the amount? We're going to pass it by calling the product. My god, what is wrong? Product dot price, and then we are going to multiply it by 100. And then next one will be the token, whatever data we have from our button. So now let's save it. So now let's see what's happening. Once this button is pressed, this pay now, it will take the whole token and the info, and then this will post the whole data to this URL, http localhost 5000/payment. So once that is done, this will send us back a response. So what do we do with the response? So now we're going to check whether the payment was successful or not. So let's see. If the response status equals to 200, we are gonna, let's just log it. Your payment was successful. And if there is any error, this will just log it. So for the front end, this is done, and let's now move to the backend. Close this client directory, and then inside the root folder, which is this one, inside the root folder, let's create a new file. We are going to call it server.js, and now go inside your package.json, and inside the scripts just type start and then use the node one. And what file are we going to listen to? So this will be the server.js file, which is this one. For you, whatever name you have, just type the name of your server.js. So let's close it. Now inside our server.js, I'm going to import a bunch of stuff and I'll explain it. So what do we have? First one, we have the express imported, and then the body parser.env. So what is the .env? .env will be the file that will save our secret key, which I have named it secret key. So how do you use it? Inside your root folder, go ahead and create a new file, put dot and then env, and in here go ahead, call it, for example, secret key equal to, and then where do you get your secret key? Go to your dashboard and then reveal your test key and then copy it. Once you have copied this key, come in here and then paste it. Remember, there is no dot or there is no quotation mark. So 7, come inside your server.js. We are not going to need this one. And in here, once you import your stripe, at the end of this, process.env and then paste the name of your secret key that you have. For me, it was secret key. And then paste it here and then close the .env file. Once that is done, import the course and then initiate your Express server. And then we are going to use the body parser and the URL encoded, and finally we are going to use the course. Now about this port. So first let's type some stuff and then this will make sense for us. And I'm going to type app, by the way, which is this one that we initiated by calling the Express app, and then we are going to listen. What do we listen for? There must be a port, for example 5000, or whatever port, for example 4000 you can put. And instead of that, I'm going to just copy this port and then paste it here. For the second argument, we are going to take if there is any sort of error. If there is any error, let's just throw the error here. So if there is no error, we are going to say your server is running on port, let's say 5000. So now if I go inside my root folder, and in here if I open the new terminal here, and I'm going to type npm start. This start is coming from the package.json we had. It's this command. This will initiate our nodemon server. I'm going to start it. As you can see, our server is running and the log says your server is running on port 5000. So this is running well. And now we are getting to the backend. Let's see. If I open the source and then app.js, remember we are posting this whole data and the token and whatever we have to this URL, which is here. And in here we are also gonna get that data. How do we get it? We're gonna type app.post and then we are gonna hit the URL which is called payment/payment. Remember, this is coming from here, from payment, and this one is also going to be an async function. First one is request, the data that is coming, and then the second argument will be the response that we will send back to our app.js. And now I'm going to define two variables and I'll explain it later. Let's say status and then error. And now this request is coming from our app.js. We are gonna destructure it. Token. The second one was the amount. Request.body. This is how we access it. Request.body is what is holding our data. So if I log this data, let's say we're gonna log it first. Console log the token and save it. And now if I come to our server, we have nothing yet. And if I go to the application, pay now, I'm going to fill it up, and then the test credit card. And remember, up until now we have nothing inside our server. So if I pay now, so it says you did not set a valid publishable key. There seems to be a problem with the publishable key. So let's copy this one, cut it actually, and then we are going to create a variable here. Let's say const publishable key We're gonna save it, and then we're gonna copy the publishable key and just put it here. So now let's refresh it. If I click pay now, as you can see, we have the whole token. It says the ID is here and the token is here, and all the address, city, address, country, and all of the other stuff is here. So we have successfully received our data. Now what do we do with it? I'm gonna just remove this one, and then you are gonna do a try catch block. Try catch. If there is any error, let's just log it. Inside the try block, we're gonna wait, since this is an async function. So by using this stripe that we imported, let's copy this one, and then we're gonna create a charge in this stripe that charges that create open and column, and in here there will be a couple of properties. First one will be the source will be the token .id, the next one will be the amount, and then the next one will be the currency. The currency can be whatever currency you are using or you need. For me it will be, for example, the USD, and then save it. Remember, we created these two variables, so if the charges go through, we will return the status. That will be success. Status let's say success, and if there is any error, we will just send the status failure. So if I save it now, and then at the end of this, we are gonna just send the response back to our app.js. Press the JSON, and then we're gonna return the error and the status. And if I save it now, everything should be good to go. So let's try it. I'm gonna refresh this one. If I come inside the payments, so we have only $12, $10 here. So let's see what we have here. $10. Let's change it. For example, let's say $5. And I'm gonna pay now. The test credit card. Save it. So if I come back inside the payment and then refresh it, okay, now we have our $5 completely charged and it is working. So our application is completely ready at this point, and there is a bonus section as well. So how do you confirm whether the payment was successful or not? We're going to use the sweet alert. Let's see how to use it. Okay, now let's see how do we use the sweet alert. If you come to their page and scroll down, there should be a section for the React. And here you click on the React and it will take you to their GitHub page. Go to their GitHub and then install it. Copy this and then go inside your client folder, open a new terminal, and then paste it. Once this is installed, let's see how we use it. As the guide says, first you have to import these two. We are going to import them, copy, and then right here we are going to just paste them. So let's paste it here, and then we have to initiate our sweet alert. So let's copy this one and then paste it. And then just paste it here and save it. So once it's saved, let's see what we have. If I come to the server.js, As you can see, if the payment goes through, we will return us a status that says success, and if there is any failure, it will return us a failure status. Let's check out what we have. We are going to log the result, and also we are going to check the status. If the status is 200, that means our payment was successful, and we are going to run a function that is going to fire the sweet alert. So let's see how we are going to do that. First, you're going to come here and then you're going to create a function. Let's say we're going to call it handle success, and then you're going to type your sweet alert that you initiated, and then you're going to take this constant, copy this, and then we're going to fire it. Once we fire it, there will be some properties. The first one will be the icon. We're going to say this will be success, and then the title will be, we are going to say payment was successful, and then last but not least, we are going to put a timer for this. Let's say 4000 milliseconds, which is 4 seconds. We're going to save it, and then once we have a status 200, that means our payment was successful. If I come here, we're going to just fire the function handle success, save it. If I come to the React app, clear this one, refresh it, we are going to pay it. As you can see, we have it working. So let's see the configuration. If I come to the previous page, they have a full guide for this. Let's say for the icons. And why it's not showing? If I come to the icons, what icons can we use? As you can see, we can use the success, the error, the warning, and the info. You can find all of the configurations on their website, but now let's create the function for the error. So if there is any error here, we're gonna just fire a function that says your payment was not successful. Let's say handle failure, and then we copy the function. We're gonna create it here, just below this. Okay, we are going to do the same thing. We are going to just change their title and the icon. The icon will be error, payment was not successful, and we are going to put a timer and save it. By the way, if you want your terminal to be like me, I have a link in the description for you that you can do the same thing. Now we're going to clear this, save it. And there are 2 articles that I'm going to link down below in the description that have full guide for the deployment as well. You can check them out if you want to deploy to production, or you're going to use a different method. For this one, you are using the Stripe checkout button. The link I'm giving you in the description, they have a new and a different method, so you can check them out if you want to. If this video was helpful, drop a like and make sure to subscribe the channel to help us, and I'll see you in the next video. And if you think this video was helpful, drop a like, subscribe the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.